Hello, everybody, and welcome to what is another edition of FRL Tier 1. As you can see on your screens today, we are in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, the circuit is very different in real life to what we're going to be racing today. A lot more, I'd say, technical and tricky. Obviously, the version that we have on this game. I'm not sure what type of racing it will bring. Obviously, we know that it's been hard to follow and hard to overtake. Obviously, you've got the two DRS straights, but besides that, it is more or less single file. But surely we'll be in for a very good and competitive race today. So following the first two rounds at Brazil and Saudi Arabia, the leader of the championship is currently FRO Jerome, who I believe is competing today. I think he's in the Williams. So he managed, obviously, to take the victory in Brazil after penalties and everything else was resolved. He finished 8th in Saudi Arabia, and Yannick is currently the man behind him on 27 points, currently 2 points separating the top two. But obviously, will be very, very close at this point, at this very early stage in the championship. So Yannick currently on 27, followed by 3 drivers on 25 points. SXT Lars, SXT Yogurt, and ERT Arnold. Let me just see if all of these guys are competing today. So you have got Yogurt in the Ferrari, Lars in the Alfa Romeo. Is Arnold? Is Arnold here as well? No, Arnold is not. Arnold is not racing today. FRO Sai Hilu is the man in 6th place. He is on the grid. You can see him in the McLaren, currently out on the medium tyres. Who else is there? Sahilu currently on 19 points, so only 10 points off the lead. But like I said, very early stage in this championship, so a lot is most likely going to change in regards to the standings in this race. You've got SXT Lars, currently the first man out on the circuit. It'll probably be looking for very slow out laps, because you really don't want to overheat the tyres, because you will most definitely need them coming into the stadium section in the final sector. It's very easy to overheat probably the rear tyres around this track. You'd think that those would take the most amount of pressure. Let me just make sure my mic's not muted, because this has happened on a few occasions. Okay, yeah. So Lars currently the first man out on track, so we'll wait to see what these guys can do. Leading the constructors currently Alfa Romeo on 37 points, followed by Alpha Tauri on 35, Williams on 33, and the Haas, or Williams and Haas on 33. McLaren with 26 points, Ferrari on 25, the Alpine with 10, and both Mercedes and Aston Martin on 2 points, and the Red Bulls yet to score. So they'll be hoping to score some points today, obviously with Michalizzi being in one of the Red Bulls. In the meantime, we'll follow SXT Lars on board the first lap at Abu Dhabi into what is a very different section in real life. Very tricky braking zone, because there's a sausage curb on the inside. If you hit it too much, then it will either put your car up very high into the sky, or somewhere in the barrier where you most definitely don't want to be. So now coming down the main straight, very easy. Just keep your car as straight as possible. You're going to look for the 100-meter board on the right hand side, braking either down to gear 2 or gear 3, whichever one you're more comfortable with, or gear 1 you saw there, and short shifting up to 3, using both curbs on the in the chicane, taking both apexes fairly nicely. You've got yellow flags in the first sector. There's an Alfa Romeo slowing down. I think it might be Keane Hodgson. I wonder if there's been a bit of an issue on his lap there. We'll stay on board with Lars, as it's looking fairly decent at the moment. Using all the curbs, going to invalidate. No, he doesn't. He gets away with it. Using all the curbs quite aggressively. Oh, but he invalidates on the inside there. So he got away with one invalidation, but that was the most he was going to get away with. Just want to see if Keane has got any damage there, because he did seem to be slowing down. We'll go on board with the Ferrari, I believe, of Yogurt, who was on a lap also, but he's invalidated himself. So we'll watch as they filter through that final sector. You've got a Mercedes of maybe Kyle Scarrett that I think is on a lap. No, he's coming into the pits. I wonder if he's either met some traffic or picked up some damage. So quite a few cars coming through the final corners, and Zach is also in the pits. So nobody's setting a lap time at the moment. Oh, there we go. Sahilu goes P1 on the 35.9. I'm not too sure what is representative around this track. I've not done too many laps myself, as Jerome goes P1. And it looks like Pricky's coming through the final corner on the soft tyres, and he goes P1 on the 35.5. There's a Haas also coming through. It's tyres 24. He goes P4. And Aston Martin also of Sem. He hasn't invalidated. He's going to come across the line and go P1 on the 35.2. So the lap times dropping fairly quickly, as you would expect at the moment. I'd like to see anybody currently on the lap as Keane also comes into the pits. FRO Geordie is invalidated. So it seems like the drivers are finding it quite difficult to get a clean lap at this stage in qualifying, as Michalizzi seems to be slowing down on his lap. So let's see, can we pick anybody up in the final sector at the moment? Lars is looking like he's going another lap. He was looking good, but obviously he invalidated in probably one of the places you wouldn't expect. But we'll watch him coming through the final sector and see if he can keep it within the white lines, as Sem goes P1 on the 35.2. I think he did that a few moments ago, as Sahilu going P5, and Lars, well, absolutely smashing the rest of the field currently. Obviously still a very long way to go, but a 134.6 for the Alfa Romeo driver. We'll look to see if that's Yogurt currently on the lap. Yes, it is, but he's invalidated, so he'll be coming into the box, and McLaren will follow him. I believe that is Simbao. Let's see who we can pick up here. T was improving, but he's invalidated, so he's coming into the pits. A few cars behind on track, as somebody goes up into the top 5. I'm not too sure who. Jerome coming into the pits. Who was that? Okay, maybe that was just me. Mercedes coming through the final corner and coming into the box. So quite a few cars have looked like they've gone out on laps, but have chosen to come into the pits. So I don't know, interesting strategies going on. Lars is out of fuel at the moment. Sorry, I'm receiving a message. I need to charge my phone actually. Okay, wait, give me 2 seconds. I need to charge my phone. Okay, and we are back. Not sure if thing, but we have been on board with Zach, and it's not looked like a too scruffy lap. So let's see what he can do in this final sector and where he can put his Ferrari. Currently, both Ferraris yet to set a lap time. So Zach will be hoping to change that, get very, very close to the barrier on the exit there. You're going to throw it in to the fast right-hander. You keep it, just rest it on that orange curb and hope the car sticks. Short shifting up to gear 5, and he does get it through, and it's a 135.2 for Zach. We'll watch Ginger currently on a lap. I'm not sure if anybody else is on a lap further on. Yes, we've got 2 AlphaTauri, so we'll go to Jerome here as he enters the final sector. 58.2. It's coming up as purple, but we'll have to wait to see whether it is or not. Get a little bit light on the rear end there, so he would have lost some time. He's got a few cars up ahead that he negotiates fairly easily. And yellow flags in the final sector, and McLaren probably running out of fuel. We'll look to see whether or not he's starting his lap. but where can Jerome in the AlphaTauri put himself? Obviously, AlphaTauri 2 points off Alfa Romeo in second place in the Constructors' Championship, so they'll be looking for another tidy result. And for Jerome, it's P9 on a 135.7, so he'll want to improve fairly quickly. But Ginger is invalidated, so the drivers finding it quite difficult to get clean laps in, which you would expect because it's a very tough track on track limits. Yogurt is currently in the final sector and he's improving as well, 57.6 middle sector, but he's slowed down there, he's invalidated. And there's a Haas that's out of qualifying, and there's an Alfa Romeo. I think something may have happened in turn one. Let's see if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can see it there on the inside. There was a Haas parked right on the apex. Hopefully nobody drives into him. We've got a few cars coming towards the scene of this incident at turn one, and fortunately he ghosts. Wow, we've definitely seen incidents like that where the car doesn't ghost and guys ending up out of the session. So fortunately for Shenda, he did ghost, and he will continue on in qualifying. We'll stay on board with the AlphaTauri drivers. There's more yellow flags in the final sector, and Yogurt looks to be going again on his lap. Obviously he did invalidate in the final sector last time out, but we will follow the AlphaTauri driver on board and see what he can do. He hasn't yet set a lap time, as I believe the McLaren of Sahilu's gone on a 135.1, so he's improved to put himself into P4. Yellow flags everywhere on the track. I think guys are really slowing either for tyre temps, or that's a good middle sector there from Shenda. So let's look to see what you can do in the final sector. It's a crazy lap around here because you can really have so much time in the first two sectors, but you can really throw it away just by one simple lockup or one little bit of oversteer or overdriving the car. It really doesn't take too much, but we see whether or not Shenda can get it. He just manages to keep it in bounds there, getting close to the barrier again. I think you kind of have to get close to the barrier. Is he going to touch that orange curb? He keeps it nicely on the curb without losing the rear. Short shift, but he goes wide, and that might be invalid. He tries to, or he gets away with it. Cheeky stuff there from Shenda, but he puts himself up into P7. As you can see, Ginger's getting a beautiful slipstream from Michelitz's. But he's on an out lap actually, so I'm not too sure. Or a few cars actually there. Going across the pit entry line. Let's see. Let's have a look. Yeah, the way that car was on the inside, because I'm pretty sure that's happened in other leagues where they don't actually ghost, even though they should be ghosting. Okay, let's have a quick look at. Okay, so Jerome, where's Jerome? Is he on the track? Yes, he is, but he has invalidated. How many minutes are left in the session? That is what I would like to know, as yellow flags being waved in the middle sector and guys are really cutting across the corners. So I'm assuming Jerome will come into the pits for another set of tyres, but I can't see how many minutes are left in the session, so I don't know what these guys are thinking. Lars looks like he's on a lap, so we'll follow the man currently on provisional pole, SXT Lars, and look to see what he can do. Obviously this is the race winner from the last race in Saudi Arabia, so a very impressive pace as Simbao goes up into P3 on a 134.8, only 2 tenths or less than 2 tenths off this man in the Alfa Romeo, getting a very good change of direction there at the chicane, and he's going to blast down the straight and hug the inside shortest line. And I say it's difficult to spot the braking zone. You look for somewhere near that little change in colour on the pavement. Both apexes very nicely using the curbs beautifully there. All of the curb on the outside, clipping the apex on the left, and he's going to bomb all the way down towards the stadium section. And let's see what he can do. You want to make sure you don't lock the front right. Touch that apex on the left. Bring the car over to the right as much as possible. Hold it in gear 3. Short shift up to, no, he doesn't short shift. He keeps it in 3. He's going to run it out wide onto the blue pavement. Only a few corners to go. It could go away from him very easily. He keeps it nicely in bounds. Surely he's going to improve here. He's looking like a very good lap now for a male driver, and he does improve by 3 tenths of a second. It's a 134.3 for SXT Lars, and that will most likely take some beating with 3 minutes left in the session. It looks like SXT Maras is on a lap, or is he? No, he looks like he's going a little bit slowly. Yeah, he's going slowly. Yeah, he'll be on his way into the pits. So let's have a look. Ginger also coming into the pits. Zach, the only man currently on an hour lap at the moment. So as Keen Hodgson retires from the session, we'll follow Zach in the Ferrari around on his lap. We'll follow him off board this time actually, and see what angles Codemasters can give us. As you've got a few cars coming out of the pits just in the corner of your screen there. Obviously the pit lane here is very, very different to most pit lanes, kind of going under a tunnel and then bringing you out at turn 3. Okay, so Codemasters weren't giving us the best angle, so Zach improving by just over a tenth at the moment. Jerome said that to make Bread laugh and crash. Oh, did you know that there are 3.7 million saunas in Finland for 5.5 million people? Oh, God. No, I didn't know that. To be honest, I didn't know that. It's nice to know. So we'll follow Zach through the middle sector. You'd think that a sector with only about 2 chicanes isn't too important, as he does invalidate, but really you can find so much time just depending on how much you are or are not using the curbs. Then again, that's effectively around every corner on this track. The curbs are quite brutal here at Abu Dhabi. So nobody else currently on the lap. So who is going to be the next person across the line is what we need to find out. As Shenda spins there in the beginning of the final sector. Let's see who's starting a lap. The Mercedes, no. Or is he going again? Yes, he is. We'll follow the man in P3, SXT Maras, on his lap, as Lars has called it a day and has retired. Whether or not that 34.3 will be enough for pole position, you'll have to wait a few minutes to find out. It's all going to come to a head here. Just remember, it's not the easiest place to overtake, but he's actually deploying, so he's not on the lap. So I think he's going for a cool down lap and he's going to go again. So let's see if there is anybody currently on a flyer. Sahilu, the man in P7, is currently starting his lap. So what can he do? This is the man who finished on the podium in the first race, finished P10 in the second race. He's not improved in the first sector, so he'll need to find a lot of time if he wants to put himself anywhere near the front row of what I believe will probably be a mid-34 at this point. Cars starting to come across the line and start their flying laps. But we'll stay on board with Sahilu. We'll wait to see his middle sector time. It's only a few corners away. Like I said, Codemaster's not giving us the best of angles. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to be looking at the rear tyre. He's going to hook it nicely on the curb on the inside. Getting a little bit squiggly out of on the power, but only a few seconds until he knows whether he's up or down on his delta, and he's improving very, very slightly though, so it might not be enough unless he can find some massive amount of time in this final sector. There's yellow flags being waved in the first sector. Yogurt has started his lap. He's currently in the middle sector, I believe, so we'll jump to him very, very shortly. At the moment, where is Jerome? The championship leader is actually, that's the end of his session. So the championship leader has pulled over in the middle sector. His lap was invalidated, and that will be the end for him. We'll go back to Sahilu. He looks like he's really throwing it around in the final corner, using all of the curb on the apex there. He's going to power down towards the start-finish line in this P4. So we'll follow Yogurt. He's improved just by half a tenth. He'll need to find more time, as Shenda's absolutely binned it on the curb there. As Yogurt, can he apply some pressure to SXT Lars coming through the final corner? Very, very aggressive there, and he's going to take it to the line, and he misses out just slightly. He's found about 4 tenths in that final sector, but it's not enough to displace SXT Lars from what is at the moment still provisional pole. Simbao not improving. The championship leader Jerome out of this, well, not out, but that's the end of his session. Ginger currently the next man on a lap. You've got a few cars up ahead. I believe Jerome has just improved to go P6. FRO Ginger coming through the final sector. He's got a car just up ahead. It shouldn't cause too much problem, but he gets massive understeer. He doesn't invalidate. Somehow the lap is still going to be valid. He's only got a few corners to navigate. Can he get himself into the top 10? As you can see, cars all over the track here at Abu Dhabi. These guys are really finding it tricky on these final few laps. Can he improve? Yes, he does. He goes P3 on a 134.6. Let's see anybody else on the lap. Jerome coming into the pits. Kyle Scout not improving. Michalizzi coming through the final corner. Oh, and he gets on the curb and he's out of qualifying quite spectacularly. And I believe that will be it for qualifying. It's going to be the Alfa Romeo of SXT Lars on pole position, followed by Yogurt, who managed to find about 4 tenths in that final sector. I'd like to see that sector time actually, because it did look like he sent it and it did stick. Ginger there, just in the final moments, also managing to get onto the second row. I'm not too sure what happened with Maras. It says he's on an out lap. We saw him coming around with 100% ERS, so maybe he just didn't get his lap in. But that is the end of qualifying. It will be Maras and Ginger sharing the second row, both McLarens on the third row, Jerome and VRT Santeri on the fourth row, followed by Sem and Jerome rounding out the top 10. You'll anticipate that everybody outside the top 10 will put on the medium tyres, so we'll wait to see what they choose to go for. And I'm pretty sure the session will probably have to time out, because I'm not sure what's going on here with SXT Maras. Yeah, the session will have to time out. So whilst it's doing that, I'm quite intrigued to see what that final sector was of Yogurt. He did a 36.8. Okay, interesting. And a 36.7 still for Lars. So quite close there. They were very closely matched. 17.1, 17.2. Okay, so I think Yogurt probably found a bit of time in that middle sector. Yeah, maybe just less than a tenth. Just less than a tenth. So qualifying hopefully will be ending now. Yes, it is. I think Maras has had to disconnect. Might have been a bit of a glitch. Let's have a look at the Discord just to make sure. And there you have it. So 300 separating the top two, which should mean a very, very good race ahead for all of us. Ginger only 2.5 tenths back. The rest of the field just about half a second off the front runners. You can see 2 drivers didn't set a lap time. I'm sure they'll be on the mediums. I'm not too sure about strategy around this track. Soft hard potentially could make sense, but with the hard tires, you're always gambling on any medium runners either overheating or basically the tires falling off the cliff. So it'll be interesting to see what people go for. You're probably most likely going to see those that start on the softs going for hards rather than anybody starting on the hard tires themselves. The likelihood of a safety car is probably very, very high. As you saw there in qualifying, the track scattered with broken cars. So I would not be surprised if that were to be the case in the race that we're about to see. So 30 seconds before we start. Are we having a restart? Okay, that's telling me that we're gonna have a restart. Yeah, okay, we're having a restart. Oh, Codemasters. Okay, yeah, so we're having a restart. I think there was an issue there with the Mercedes driver. Can I leave the session? Okay. So normally what I do in this situation is go into time trial and entertain you guys with my brilliant F1 abilities, but we won't do that this time. We'll just wait for the invite, unless you guys want me to do that, by the way. If you do, then I don't mind. Just let me know in the comments. Yeah, restart. Okay, so obviously with a restart, it just means that everybody in the top 10 will get new tires. Sometimes it is quite frustrating when you do have restarts, especially for those starting in P11, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's happened to me where you might even use 2 sets of soft tires in qualifying to save a set, and then suddenly you have a restart. I guess that's just Codemasters at the end of the day. When will they fix their games? Probably never, but we'll have to wait and Well, I guess all we can do is hope. Okay, I'm gonna take a minute. Go on then. Oh, don't do that, because I promise you I will actually go to Abu Dhabi and start doing world records. Okay, I'm gonna be back in a moment. When I get the invite, I'll be back in the session. So just hopefully a few minutes, it won't be too long. Okay, so shouldn't be too long until we are ready to go. Let me just check the Discord. So for anybody joining us now, basically we have had to obviously have a lobby reset because Codemasters and their issues. So I think generally when somebody disconnects in qualifying, them rejoining can be an issue because you can basically get to the start of the race and the lobby just freezes. So I guess it's safer to just restart than have to go through that whole process of sitting on the 30 seconds or 1 minute of everybody just being, confused. So when the grid order is set, we will be back racing. Let's have a look. You start on soft, change it while at 10:18, which is shown on stream, so that got invalidated. Wait. Okay. Sorry, I was confused. I thought, wait, what's happening? Okay. Okay, not too sure. Oh. Okay, I think maybe because somebody extended the final corner quite massively. I think we saw that on the stream, and somebody else also saw that. So I think they're trying to make a point. Okay, just a reminder, if you're tuning in, to hit a like. Obviously, you've not really seen much. Qualifying was entertaining. I'm sure the race will be very, very action-packed. Because like I said, Abu Dhabi, it'd be difficult to go through the 28 laps here without a safety car, especially the way the curbs can basically destroy you in a matter of tenths or seconds, whatever you want to call it. So we'll still wait for race to get underway or the lobby to be customized. Because obviously the host effectively has to set the order that we had in qualifying. Otherwise, we'll be already racing by now. But it just takes a few minutes before that can happen. Ginger is just finishing off the custom grid. Also, Ginger got his lap deleted. Oh, okay. Lap deleted. Interesting. Okay, great. And we are ready to go. So we're going to be starting within 20 seconds, let's say. Yeah, top 10 on the tyres, they qualified. I've made that mistake in the past. Oh my God. It can be very detrimental to your race, accidentally putting on the wrong set of tyres. For example, somebody that's in the top 10 putting on the mediums, because at that point you have to either pit straight away or I'm pretty sure you'll be disqualified. I've done that before at a race in Zandvoort, and yeah, it wasn't the greatest of experiences. So let's hope that everybody in the top 10 has received that message and nobody makes that mistake. Okay, 10 seconds. Let's hope. Well, that should be the last restart. There we are. Okay, so formation laps. Let's have a look at the tyres. There you go. Everybody outside the top 10 except for FRO Geordie on the mediums. So currently, SXT Lars was the man who took the last victory in Saudi Arabia. That was his first race of the season. He was not, he did not race in Brazil. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep up his form and win again. Based on qualifying, it looks like he will be the favourite too. But Yogurt will most certainly be following him very, very closely. Obviously, Yogurt basically threw away what was an easy victory at the first race in Brazil. He finished second in Saudi, so he'll be looking to get his season really started and take victory here in Abu Dhabi. The championship leader, FRO Jerome, starting in P9. Keep an eye on him and his progress, whether or not he can make up some positions early on in this race with all those medium runners that will be bearing down on him probably very, very soon into the race. Pricky and Cal Scarrett disqualified on the formation lap, so their tyres will be absolutely freezing cold at the start. So that is also another one to watch out for. FRO Geordie, really will be just about keeping clean on those hard tyres, trying to extend that stint and praying that there are no safety cars, because if you start on the hard tyres and there's a safety car, your strategy is effectively gone through the window. I was going to say out the window, but I don't think that's dramatic enough, because if you do start on the hards and there's a safety car, your race is basically over. If there's an early safety car, that is, because then medium runners can either pit twice and go soft medium, or soft runners can go medium. There's many different ways. But if you're on the hard, you're kind of stuck, because if you pit, then yeah, you'll be on everybody else's strategy, but then you basically put on the hard tyres for absolutely no reason. So, as the leader comes around the final corner and will go through Pricky, we'll wait to see what the start in Abu Dhabi has for us. Obviously, we're going to have a very big situation like this on Sunday. Obviously, that's going to be in real life. So let's not preempt anything, because we don't have any idea what's going to happen in qualifying tomorrow or on the race on Sunday. But let's hope for a good race here today, as all the cars have lined up on the grid. And are they going to give us a good camera? Yes, they are. So there we go. There's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're underway here in Abu Dhabi, and it looks like Yogurt's actually got the better of Lars. Is he going to get up the inside? No, he thinks better of it. But the Mercedes of Maras is actually going to go around the inside. They make a little bit of contact there. Fortunately, are they going to make it through? Yes, so that's a good move right now outside of turn 2. So we'll filter down the field as Zach and Tees are also switching positions. Jerome has lost a position to Sai Hilu, and he's actually getting attacked by Jerome. He's going to make it around the outside over those curbs. He does make it smoothly. He's going to put his nose up the inside, and they don't make contact. And is he going to make the move? They're going to go side by side all the way down the straight. A few cars side by side. The Haas of VRT Santeri also alongside oh goodness me, Shenda, sorry. As you see Sahilu defending there. The leader currently has got a 9/10 gap, so he's pulling away. Always you see the Haas sending it up the inside. They make heavy contact there. Hopefully he didn't get any wing damage, but Sam's going to be watching this very, very nicely in his Aston Martin and hoping that these guys come to blows coming into the final sector here. Is he going to try and make the move around the outside? No, he thinks better of it. But Jerome and Sahilu still switching places, currently fighting for P9 at the moment, but Sahilu managing to remain ahead. You see the gap out in front, already 1.1 seconds. So Lars really showing his strength here and stretching that lead. He want to break that DRS as soon as possible. 1.2 seconds now, and obviously it's very difficult to follow in this final sector. So we'll see if anybody is able to get close enough, as you can still see the Haas of Santeri on the back. Oh, he's getting massively out of shape. Fortunately, he's managed to keep it well out of the barrier, but it looked like he was on his way to a massive crash there, but he managed to keep it on the track. To be fair, we'll probably be seeing a lot of that. And he's out. Wow, so Shender's out, and I feel like once again I've had commentators curse. Oh man, there's a virtual safety car. Because, yeah, I was about to say, we'll probably be seeing a lot of guys getting out of shape, especially these soft tyres start to come towards the end of their life. But you saw Shender there getting out of shape on the curb. He managed to catch it at first, but he basically overcorrected and sent himself into the other barrier. Fortunately, he didn't take out Santeri or Sen. He managed to ghost, but we have got a safety car now, and Geordie's also out of this race. I'm not sure what happened to Geordie there, but he's out. The man that started in last on the hard tyres. Be interested to see what the guys on the softs choose to do. It is a very early safety car, but I think the best thing to do at this point is, it's interesting because if you pit for the mediums, you can go medium. All of those that are on the mediums obviously need to use either the hards or the softs. So you still would probably be in an advantageous situation if you are on the softs and you choose to come in for the medium tyres. The safety car will probably be out for about 2 laps. The grid are quite bunched up, so it probably won't stay out for too long. But we'll wait to see what the leader does choose to do here. Still only lap 1, so and obviously these are fresh soft tyres because they didn't have to use them in qualifying, obviously because of the lobby restart. So we'll see what Lars chooses to do. Is he going to come into the box? No, he doesn't. It looks like everybody's is choosing to go around, which is probably telling me that the soft tyres are probably not that bad. But Jerome comes into the pit, so the championship leader chooses to box. I wonder if he might have a slight wing damage. He made contact a few times with Sahili, but he's coming to the pits, and we'll wait to see what tyres he puts on. Surely it will be the mediums. Obviously the Williams all the way at the end of the pit lane. So yes, the medium tyres for the championship leader, and his strategy will now be medium. So obviously he's now got a lot of cars between himself and the guys he was fighting earlier on, but he's probably on the better strategy at this point in the race. Yeah, medium to the end, surely. But really only one man choosing to pit. Interestingly enough, we want to see Pricky killed Keane. Yeah, so Aston Martin safety car as well. I didn't notice. I'm not sure when. To be fair, I've not been behind the safety car in the league race, so maybe that's why. So restart safety car. Pricky will overtake everyone. Okay, so Pricky's got some fan love at the moment in the comments. I'm sure he appreciates it. Hopefully, it can help him rise up from the depths of P16 on those medium tyres. Keane also choosing to box for new mediums. He started on the mediums as well, so I'm not sure if he's pit twice or if he'll consider pitting again. He would probably, it would mean the safety car's out for another lap, but obviously it would mean that he doesn't need to go on the set of hards or softs. But I'm assuming he had damage actually, because Pricky said that, one of the comments said that Pricky killed Keane. So yeah, we'll wait to see what happens as all the leaders chose to stay out. I think it's very difficult because you will regain or retain track position if you don't pit, and obviously because of how difficult it is to overtake, and also the fact that everybody behind or ahead of Jerome is on relatively fresh mediums. It's not like anybody's out of sync on old medium tyres. It's going to be interesting to see how this does play out till the end of the race. Forza Grosso Maras. So Maras currently in the Mercedes, and he's actually, he managed to get past Yogurt at the start of the race with a good move around the outside of turn 2. So he's going to look to apply some pressure. The top 3 all SXT. So they've had a fairly good season up until now, actually, showing off their paces. There's been a 5-second time penalty somewhere in the midfield as Tees and Zach make contact. So barring anything crazy happening, I believe the safety car will be in on this lap. You want to see, so what is it about Pricky? Okay, let's watch Pricky then. I'm not sure what exactly it is you're looking for, but I'll let you establish that for the moment whilst we're under the safety car. Pricky warming his tyres very, very nicely. I guess this is some form of entertainment for you guys. I hope it is. Okay, anyways. Okay, so we'll find out very, very soon whether or not the safety car will be in this lap, but the whole pack are here, so it should be in on this lap. Often on this game, for some reason, it likes to really, I say trick you, but coming into the last couple corners, suddenly the safety car will be in, but I don't think that was going to be an issue because the whole grid are quite bunched up. Yeah, trying to get some heat into the rear tyres there. You hear Yogurt planting the throttle because it's very important, especially in the restart, because coming through that final corner, you got a cold left rear tyre, you could well easily find yourself in the barrier on the right hand side, and I personally wouldn't be surprised if anybody did actually find themselves. Tricky has the biggest fan base here. Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. Okay, I'll keep that one in mind. I'll definitely keep that one in mind for you guys, as it looks like the leader has chosen to go very, very early, but the safety car is well and truly up the field, but that will catch probably everybody out, and probably wouldn't give anybody some overtaking opportunities. So as they come down past the line, it's Lars, Maras, Yogurt, followed by Simbao, Jerome, Sem, who's quite close to Jerome actually, as there's positions being swapped near the back, and you're seeing Jerome getting massively out of shape on those medium tyres. You've got Keane following him quite closely. I believe Retro may have got out of shape there on one of the curbs, but we'll follow this battle here. You've got both Williams drivers following each other quite closely on the track. We'll keep an eye on the gaps out in front as well. But at the moment, it looks like Keane is looking to make a move on Jerome as he does bounce over that curb quite vigorously. Is he going to try and make a move around the outside? No, he thinks better of it. Well, to be fair, it's always a difficult move to make. We'll see how much ERS they are willing to use at this point in the race to get past. It looks like Jerome really wants to get past his teammate as soon as possible. Is Pricky going to fight him? If he does look up the inside, he does have a little sniff, but he thinks better of it. But the leaders at the moment, Yogurt currently on the back of Maras, and he doesn't go for a move, so he probably won't find a move at this point. So we'll go back to Jerome, who is currently following his teammate. Is he going to try and make a move running outside, or he switches to the inside quite aggressively and he gets the move done? Pricky looking for the switchback. This is a good battle here. Both Williams and Pricky getting out of shape. He manages to keep it together, but he will lose another place and drop into P17. So we'll still keep an eye on those gaps out in front. By the moment, this is the biggest battle going on, and it's for P15, interestingly enough. Pricky looking like he's got a little bit of understeer. I wonder if he's got some damage on his front wing, as Lars does the fastest lap of the race, and he's got a 1.2 second gap, so he's really showing that he is the man in charge of this race at the moment. And Keane and Jerome currently pulling away from Pricky, so we'll have a look up the grid and where the closest battles are. Currently Yogurt still applying pressure to Maras, fighting over P2. We've got a big cluster of cars here behind Jerome. It's Jerome currently in P5, followed by Sem and Santeri. But Yogurt looking like he wants to make a move, and Retro Grizzly's out of the race. Is that going to be another safety car here in Abu Dhabi on lap 6? That will change a lot, as you've got Yogurt getting past Maras and yellow flag still being waved, but no safety car. So I believe that will not be a safety car or a virtual safety car, but Yogurt managing to make a move for P2 at the moment. So he's got the pace, and Sen and Jerome also fighting. I don't think DRS is activated. No, it's not. So that would have all been just out of the chicane and probably sheer speed at the moment, but still a very long way to go in this race. Obviously, with the safety car, it will mean that the soft tires can stretch this first stint a little bit longer. We'll have to wait to see how much longer. Disappointing for Pricky. Nice move from Jerome. Yeah, it was a very nice move from those two, and they've managed to pull away from Pricky. Also, the gap now 1.6 seconds out at the back. Jerome trying to make up for obviously pitting under the safety car onto those medium tires. DRS is enabled, and there's yellow flags in, I believe there's a Ferrari that's going slowly. No, it's Teaser spun out and he's going to come into the pits. Pricky's been given a 3-second time penalty. I wonder if there was contact there. Sorry about the switching. We'll follow on board the man in third position, Maras, who's only 6 tenths behind Yogurt. Also, big battles going on behind Sem in P5. There will be about 3 cars with DRS. Also, Santeri getting very, very close to the back of Jerome as we filter down as they come through the hairpin. You can see him there. He's right on the gearbox of Jerome. Is he going to be able to make a move? They will all have DRS. I wonder if we're going to see any DRS trains here in this race. As it looks like Sen is making a move just a little bit further up the straight. He thinks better off. Oh, very deep on the brakes is Joe, and he's going to miss the apex, and they're going to make contact, and that might actually give Sen a little bit, or Santeri, a little bit of an advantage, because he would have been able to straighten his car up a bit earlier. And you can see he's got DRS. He was basically waiting for this second detection point. And is he going to make the move stick around the outside? You can see he's deep on the brakes. Oh, and they make contact. They both spin out. And oh, very, very good driving there from Ginger to avoid that. Yeah, Santeri kind of just turned in there. And unfortunately for him and Jerome, they are both going to lose out at the moment, as the Red Bull of Michalizzi getting out of shape, coming through the final sector there. As we filter down and have a look, is wow, the gap out in front 2.1 seconds at the moment. So you're got well, nobody's got an answer for Lars at this point in the race. He really is showing that he's got the most pace on the track at the moment. Simbao only half a second behind Sem. He's going to be looking to get up into P4 and get after those guys in the top three. Ginger, big gap back to Ginger, 2.5 seconds. He's closely followed by Sahilu in the McLaren. There's yellow flags again, and it's a Mercedes. It's Maras and Sem also. So I wonder if Maras has spun out there, and unfortunately Sem has been a victim of that. You can see he's got wing damage, but he's going to have to pit because he's going to have absolutely no pace. But what this is going to do is bunch this part of the pack up very, very nicely, and probably give us a pretty thrilling couple laps here. You can see the McLaren is going defensive, but I don't think he'll have to defend too much from Sem, who's missing half of his front wing, and probably won't even make this corner. Is he going to make it? Yes, he is. He's still going to stick with it and try and fend off the Mercedes driver. He does push him off the track. So Sem's still pushing, and Maras uses another position. So it's been a horrible lap for Maras. He's dropped down to P8, whilst the Haas of Santeri manages to gain another position. There's battles going on all over the track at the moment, as Keane, Hodgson and Jerome currently up to P12 and P13. Oh wow, well, you see that there, massive cluster of cars, and they're all going to be, I think Maras has probably got damage as well in the Mercedes. You can see he's going slowly and he's trying to stay offline. Oh, that was always going to happen. With Maras slowing in the middle of the track. Oh, this is carnage. You can see that he's really trying to stay out of the way, but it's just bottlenecking massively. Somebody is going to be a victim to this. Can Keane get through safely? Yes, he does, just about. There was a little bit of contact, but I don't think he would have lost any of his front wing. Unfortunately for Jerome, he's been a massive victim in this massive melee that we've seen there on lap 8. Pricky getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I wonder if he's going to retire. No, he's not. So at the moment, Jerome up into P9 now, and Keane following him nicely through the field on P10. Obviously, I believe we'll have a look at the position changes. You can see there, Keane starting P19. He's currently up into P10. So he'll be looking to make up some more places. Bearing in mind, quite a few of the drivers up ahead are on the soft tyres. So a pretty hectic lap that we had there. Let's see who made it. Who was a beneficiary from that? You've got Ginger. Oh, and they make contact, but fortunately, Konzo manages to keep it in shape. You've got Ginger up in P4 on the medium tyres, and he's not actually too many seconds off the lead of this race. So that will be one to watch out for come the end of this race. You're going to see they're going to go 3 abreast into the chicane, and Keane's going to try and make the move stick around the outside, and fortunately, they just about give each other enough room. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Hopefully, no damage, but some good racing from the three of them. It could have been a much bigger crash than what we saw, that slight contact. Fortunately, it wasn't, and they all live to fight another day here at Yas Marina. The gaps are starting to open up everywhere on track. This is the closest battle that we have at the moment. You can see in the map on your bottom right, the leader's now got a 3.8 second advantage to Yoga at the moment, who's the man in P2. Unfortunately for Maras, he went from second after lap 1 to now P15, as you've got yellow flags, and I believe somebody is that Jerome? Is he? I think he spun out at the last corner, so it's gone back from bad to worse for the AlphaTauri driver, as well as Keane probably felt the rear going there a little bit. He's had to come off the throttle very, very slightly, but we'll still follow this battle, as, like I said, this is the closest battle that we currently have on the grid. DRS enabled, he'll probably wait for the second straight. That is a very useful tactic around here. You don't really want to overtake on the first straight, but what we have got is Santeri with absolutely no ERS. Oh, looking to come past the McLaren of Sahilio, and he does make the position. Keane is most likely going to do the same thing, and he's also looking for the outside. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, he does get the nose into the corner, and he will take the apex and take the position. So Santeri and Keane making moves there to gain position as Zach gets a 3-second time penalty. He's currently in P11. Bad day for humble squads, yeah. Michelici currently running in P7. I wonder if he's got any damage. There's a little bit of contact there as you've got a few cars coming to the pits here on lap 11. Soft tire runners, there's yellow flags in the final sector. There's, I believe it's Keane, and he's got damage as well. Or has he not got damage? Hopefully he hasn't got damage, but you've got 3 cars in the pits. Yogurt, Simbao, and Santeri. So we'll filter back up the grid and see what we have got. We've got Jerome currently still making waves on Michelici. Remember, he's going to pit to the medium tyres. Again, as he's pit already under the safety car. He doesn't need to use the hards or the softs. So we'll follow this through as more time penalties being dished out left, I say left, right and centre, just a few in the last couple of laps. I'm sure there'll be more to come in this race. Michelici managing to hold the position ahead of Jerome. Obviously that is for now. There is a second DRS straight, and it looks like Jerome has got the advantage. He's got the advantage on the tyres, and they've more or less got the same amount of DRS. Michelici, is he going to defend the position too hard? We'll watch this off-board. Michelici does go very deep on the brakes, and he manages to keep it ahead. Very good defensive driving there from Michelici. He's going to maintain P4, and Keane Hodgson currently on the back of Simbao. They're going side by side, and there's a little bit of contact there. They've not really given each other enough space there. Simbao not really trying to yield. Hopefully there's not any very light green damage there on Keane's front wing. Otherwise, it'll be a very, very long race for him. But what we have got here is Yogo, who's looking to close the gap to the leader, Lars. I wonder when he will pit. Lars still continued to go around. Obviously, he had a 4-second advantage when Yogo did come into the pit, so he can maybe afford a few more laps on those soft tyres. But Yogo's really going to need to get on with it at the moment if he wants to close that gap and make an impression on the leader, who's looked very, very comfortable out in front at the moment. And you've still got Jerome on the back of Michelici, obviously on those newer medium tyres. It'll be interesting to know when these guys are thinking to pit. Bearing in mind that the soft tyre runners have taken those softs about 11 laps with the safety car, you'd think that the mediums will probably go up till around lap 16 before they are really screaming and desperate for a change. You've got a cluster of cars coming through the hairpin as there's a spin and his tease is out of the race. Is that going to be a safety car? It is a safety car. And as the safety car is deployed, this means that Yogurt, Lars is basically going to maintain his his lead when he does come into the pits. Ginger, who just managed to get past Michelici, is going to have track position when he does pit, because now he has to box surely for a new set of medium tyres. But will the mediums will definitely do the 14 laps that it will take to go to the end. So Jerome may well find himself on the podium, but it really does depend on where these cars come out or once they have stopped. Obviously Yogurt, we'll have to wait and see whether or not he's going to lose out to those up ahead of him. He probably shouldn't, but you've got a 9-second gap between Ginger and Jerome. Ginger could be he is a massive winner in this situation. Obviously, having started on the medium tyres, he's going to come into the pits, but he's going to have to put on a set of hards because the softs will not go to the end. I've been in a very similar situation to this also, actually, and I managed to take the softs to the end rather than the hards, but really you just have to push it as early as possible. I don't think he can do that in this situation. Oh, he is actually going to go for the softs. So Ginger going for the soft tyres, and he's probably going to have to take them about 12 or so laps. He'll hope that the safety car stays out a little bit longer. Yogurt is going to take his P2. Ginger may well come out in P3 on a new set of softs. Can he maintain that position? Where is Simbao? Simbao's coming through the corner and just about behind. So Ginger doesn't manage to get ahead of Simbao, but he is on a brand new set of soft tyres, so he'll be very, very fast at the restart, as you've got a cluster of cars in the pits and on their way out already. Konzo, the only man to fit the hard tyres, you probably consider pitting again to get rid of those hards, because I really don't think you want to be on those hard tyres at this stage in the race. You'll be a lot slower than everybody else, and the mediums should be just fine till the end. Trying to burn off some fuel there. That's why they use the high revs, because obviously there's no standard rich and lean anymore. It's only standard, and you don't get to. Actually, no. To be fair, I know the safety car, I know you can switch it to lean, but obviously there's no rich fuel mix, so it's not as easy to burn off fuel either during the race or during the safety car. So you will often hear guys maybe going up to whatever gear and then just revving the engines as high as they basically possibly can. So Lars maintains his lead, having pit under the safety car. This is the second safety car of this race, of course. Yogurt maintaining his second position, where at one point it looked like potentially he could lose it, but the gaps weren't big enough. So fortunately, he doesn't lose out too much. Obviously, he has used his medium tyres just that little bit more than Lars. Whether or not he can make an impression on Lars anyways is the question that we will need to answer. Fortunately, this is a lifeline for Jerome, where his race was effectively ruined through no fault of his own, but he will come back into play as there's a switch there, and Ginger's coming into the box. Oh no, I wonder why Ginger's he probably doesn't trust that the softs can go to the end. I think it would have been a long shot, but I don't think it would have been impossible. It would have been in puncture territory, but in the position he was in, it was probably worth the risk. But you see quite a few cars actually come into the pits for a new set of what looks like medium tyres. So I'm not sure what they pit onto. Maybe they pit just to, because I think a lot of them started on the medium, so they've had to box onto hards or softs just to get rid of that mandatory stop that they had to make in order to put the mediums on and go to the end. So interesting tactics there, but I feel like maybe Ginger could have actually gone to the end on the soft tyres. Then again, depending, because if the safety car was going to come in now, it most likely wouldn't be possible. Lap 15, it'd be very risky. You'd probably have to take it a little bit easy, or you would. And the tyres would get very, very slow at some point. But probably the safer option is to pit for the mediums to avoid a punch. You've got an overtake being made there. Pricky's ghosting. Not too sure why. They started on medium, so they did one up on softs. Yeah. So that on medium. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, because I remember I did that soft tyre for, to be fair, it was a different game. So it's not representative, but I know that those softs would be absolutely finished if they did anywhere near 12 laps, especially without a safety car. Obviously, you saw Lars there on lap 11, still on the softs. But being under a safety car for about 3 or 4 laps would most definitely help quite a lot. So the safety car, we could be surprised. Yep, I told you. Safety car in this lap. And a lot of the drivers probably will be a little bit surprised by that. We'll see if anybody gets caught out on the restart. Because obviously the safety car is supposed to tell you that at the final, the third sector line, which is obviously at the end of the middle sector, the second long straight. But say they're a little bit late there, as Lars has chosen to throw the hammer down and go. Can he get away from Yogurt as he did so on the previous 2 occasions? Once at the start of the race, as you've got Joe looking to make a move past Sahil, who's not going to try and make it around the outside. You've got Sen and Kyle Scarrett going wheel to wheel there. Unfortunately, he gets pushed off and Sem gets the position. Can Yogurt stay close enough to the race leader? The gap currently half a second, so he may be just about. There's yellow flags and it's a red ball of Konzo. He spun out. Is he out of the race? It looks like he has managed to get his car moving. You've got Mikulitsi and Ginger currently following Kyle Scout as well. Ginger's looking like the man on the move at the moment. Kyle Scout is still on those soft tires. He's going to try and go to the end of this race. You've got Pricky, who's ghosted at the moment. Oh, and there you go, massive dive bomb there from Ginger. He's going to make the move stick. Kyle Scarrett not managing to get those softs in the window that he wants, to give him the grip that he wants. You can see the gap out in front, 1.1 seconds. So it seems like Lars has just got a massive advantage through that chicane there, as Kyle Scarrett looking to make a move past Ginger. It doesn't play out. Ginger will look to run off into the distance and get after those cars up ahead. He is on fresh mediums. Everybody up ahead is on used mediums. So it'll be interesting to see how this does play out. Sahilu only 4 tenths behind Santeri, currently in P4. So the battle for the final podium position is well and truly on here in Abu Dhabi, as Jerome and Pricky's not in the race. Lars doing a 1.9 seconds. Wow. So you can see he's got a massive pace advantage, and he's well and truly, or barring any misdemeanors, he's well and truly walking off into the distance of this race. Excuse me. And you can see the gaps here, very, very consistent. So it'll be interesting to see if these can stay just like this until the DRS is activated. Obviously, the DRS will be activated on the next lap and not this lap. So also interesting to see how they're using their ERS. Obviously some heavy braking zones, so saving ERS should probably be fairly easy, as you've got Ginger fighting Sem. No, not Sem. Sorry, Maras. Oh, when they're gonna bang wheels, and Sem's gonna lose that position. So it's not been the greatest of races for the man that started in P3. He's now down to P9, and looks like he's not really got the pace to keep Ginger within his sights. If he can stay behind, he could still well be in for a result, because DRS is very, very powerful here. So if he can manage to hang on to the Alpine's DRS and keep himself in play, because it looks like we're going to have a massive battle for the final podium position. If he can keep himself in play, he may well be able to do something in this race. Still 12 laps to go, so anything can well and truly happen. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. You've got Santeri looking like he's getting ever closer to Simbao, and Simbao really trying to stay within the DRS of Yogurt. At the moment, 9 tenths is the gap. So if he can maintain that just for a few more corners, then we could be in for a very, very interesting final 11 laps, including Yogurt in that fight for the podium, as it looks like nobody's really got an answer for the race leader at the moment. So that is the detection line. They always just jumped over a second. I wonder if Simbao would have got the DRS or not. We're going to find out. It literally just about went over a second, and that is enough to keep him out of the DRS. But over the second detection line, it looks like he will get it. They're all going to have DRS, and we might end up in a little bit of a DRS train. As you can see, Sahilu getting massively close to Santeri, who got a little bit out of shape over the first apex. I wonder if this could put him in some jeopardy here. Is Simbao going to get DRS? Yes, he does. So Simbao is going to power up towards the back of Yogurt with that DRS wide open, and he'll hope to stay within that for the next few laps, because then that is going to bring us a very, very great ending to this race. Sem only 3 tenths. Oh, some position changes happening there at the back end of the top 10, as you can see Keane going very, very slowly. It looks like he's going to lose a few positions there in this corner. Hopefully they don't come together. We'll watch them coming into the stadium section, as Jerome thinks better of going around the outside of that corner. So some good battling going on around the track. The gaps really, really closing, but you can see Simbao is now within 6 tenths of Yogurt, and Yogurt is using his ERS desperately to try and get away, but it's not going to work at this point unless there's a mistake. It looks like he will come under pressure very, very soon, because like I said, the DRS is massively powerful around this track. So unless you've got some serious speed in that final sector, you're going to come under pressure if you haven't got the DRS. But Simbao bounced it over the curb there. He took too much of that sausage curb on the right. You saw his front ring really taking the brunt of that. You've got Keane and Michelizzi switching places. Going side by side into the hairpin. Also, we'll keep an eye on those gaps out in front and look to see if anybody is going to make a move. These two are going to go side by side, as Santeri was getting quite close to Simbao there on in the middle of the chicane, but he managed to, or he thought better of it and backed out. You can see the gaps around 4/10 of a second. Mikelizzi there getting past Keane, who looks like he's struggling a little bit under traction. And at the moment, it looks like it's just a bit of a DRS train at the front, as nobody is looking to make a move, but they are getting close. So we'll go back to that right now, as you've got Yogurt, Simbao, Santeri, Saihilu, all covered by effectively nothing. Jerome and Sem very, very close by. You can see that Ginger is not managing to get close enough, but obviously he's not got the DRS. So he might have to wait a few laps until his tyres are in better shape than those up ahead. So probably towards the end of this race, we'll look to see if he can get a little bit closer to these guys. But this is the battle for the podium. It looks like the race. Oh, Yogurt's got a penalty, and Santeri gets a penalty as well. So penalties will most definitely come into play here. And obviously with the gap so close, it could be anybody's game, like we saw in Brazil. It was Khalifa who took the victory there, literally out of nowhere. I think he came across the line P7, but because he didn't manage, or he didn't pick up any penalties, he actually won this race. So it may well be down to who can keep their car within the white lines, as Mikelizzi gets a time penalty there also. It looks like Santeri's the man that is getting closer to those around him. The thing is, you would think that maybe if you send it up the inside, because you'll get DRS off Yogurt as well, maybe it's better than waiting for this second activation point. But is he close enough? It looks like he is close enough. Is he going to be able to make a move though? I'm sure Simbao will defend. This is for the final podium position. He defends to the inside and he's going to try and make it around the outside. Can they make it through? Oh, and the McLaren driver just runs him out of road there very, very nicely. Fortunately, they didn't make too much contact. Good defending there from Sahili. Very aggressive, but good defending. You can see Santeri getting out of shape on the curb. Hopefully he doesn't get too impatient and throw it all away, as there's yellow flags in the final sector. There's a Mercedes of Kyle Scarrett off the track. No safety car, no virtual safety car, fortunately. So we will follow this battle that we've got along, as Santeri is really, really on the back of Simbao, and this could allow Yogurt to streak clear. This could be the breathing space that he needs, as they are effectively now out of DRS. Oh, and Santeri's got out of shape. He's almost lost it. So he's getting a little bit impatient on the throttle there. He just needs to cool it down a little bit. And remember, there are still 8 laps to go in this race. Unless his rear tyres are starting to suffer a little bit, him DNFing would be quite unfortunate, because he could get a very good result here. You can see he's a lot faster and has a lot more confidence at the moment than Simbao. But he does really need to keep it on the track. You can see the gaps here. Both McLarens. He's basically in the McLaren sandwich at the moment. I wonder if Sahili will be interested in the move, as Kyle Scarrett has retired in the pit lane, fortunately. And you've got Sem on the back of Jerome, but not using any ERS, so he's not going to be too aggressive looking for a move at the moment. But you have got Santeri looking up the inside of Simba, who decides to turn out the corner. You saw he was almost going to turn into it. He's had to steer out of it. And you can see that flashing light on the back of his car. That means he's out of ERS. He's probably going to lose another position, maybe 2. We could have 3 wide here going into the chicane. He's going to choose to go up the inside. Oh, surely there's going to be a crash. He decides to back out of it, fortunately, because that was not going to end well. Simba, and both McLarens have touched. Both McLarens, Sahilu's made contact with his teammate there, and both McLarens were running very, very well in P3 and P5. They're now down to P7 and P10. That's a massive, massive shame. But what this does do now is give Santeri some breathing space. Yogurt has now got a 1.2 second gap to Santeri. Jerome 1.6 seconds off the back of the Haas driver. Sen still very, very close to Jerome, alongside Ginger, who's now made his way into the DRS of the cars up ahead. But unfortunately for both McLarens, they've made contact, and that has cost them a massive, massive haul of points here in Abu Dhabi. Unless something major can happen, it's looking like it will be no podium for the McLaren drivers, with Ginger going a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1 there, and that is quite unfortunate. I guess these things do happen. Imagine that happening in real life on Sunday. Sorry, that would be crazy. So my brain just thinks about Sunday, as I'm sure you could all imagine. But anyways, back to the race. You've got Sem on the back of Jerome, who now does not have any DRS to defend with, so it will be pure pace. But you can see Sem is backing off because he wants to get a double dose of the DRS And what this will do is play into Ginger's hands, as he's going to get a lot closer. Oh, when he gets out of shape a little bit, excuse me, gets out of shape a little bit. And Sem is not actually being too aggressive in making a move on the Williams driver. So we had a little bit of drama there on the last lap as Michalizzi is going around the outside of Simba. Oh, and also Keane is trying to make a move, and Simba's not giving him any room whatsoever, and he actually gets a penalty because of that. I'm sure that penalty will be removed because Simba really didn't allow him too much space. Simba's been very aggressive in his defending today. That may have been over the limit. So I guess we'll wait to see on that one later on. But the gap's now a little bit more consistent at the moment, as Yogurt is 3.2 seconds behind the race leader now. But Santeri is actually starting to close in on Yogurt for that second place, because obviously Yogurt managed to get out of the DRS whilst the rest of them were squabbling. But it looks like Santeri's got a bit of a pace advantage at the moment, so he's got only one corner to see whether or not he will get DRS on this lap, and it looks like he is. He's really closing in. The gap now only 6 tenths between P2 and P3, so we will run on board with the Haas driver. You can see he's using his ERS very, very aggressively. Is that light flashing? Will he make a move? Oh, also Yogurt actually light flashing. You can see that he's going to wait for the second DRS zone, and this will probably be a very common theme that we will find here, guys waiting for the second DRS zone in order to the move stick, and this will most likely be a change of position for P2, depending on whether Yogurt can maybe keep his nose on the inside, and no, he can't. So Santeri gets the move done. Sem also passed Jerome in the first DRS zone. Ginger following very, very closely behind. Sahilu managing to make his way back up to these guys. Whether or not he can get past them or not, we'll have to wait and see. 6 laps to go here in Abu Dhabi. 3-second gap between Sahilu and Zach, who's currently P8. Maras, who started on the second row of the grid, down in P9. He's been on those medium tyres for the longest, 12 laps. And then it's a 2.2 second gap back to Michalizzi, Simbao, and then Keane Hodgson in P12. Jerome running in P13. Prick, I don't believe is in the race. And Konzo, who crashed and has pit for a new set of mediums, is currently running in P15 and last. So we'll watch Santeri and see whether or not Yogurt can find some pace to stay within his DRS. He's going to get DRS on this lap. He's not as close as Santeri was on the last lap, but it will most definitely keep him within range. The biggest battle is currently going on here for P4. There's about 4 cars currently squabbling over position and DRS at the moment. It'll be interesting to see whether or when Ginger's tyre advantage will come into play. To be fair, it's only 1 lap, so it won't be too drastic, but whether or not it makes a difference, we'll have to wait and see. Michalizzi there's a big battle here going on behind Michalizzi, as Simba is making me run the outside of Maras, as Ginger gets a 3-second time penalty. Remember, penalties will most definitely play a massive, massive part in this race because the gaps aren't too drastic. But you can see some really, really good battling going on here. I think we'll stay on board with this because it looks like Maras's tyres are starting to go out of the peak window. He's starting to experience quite a bit of wear. Obviously, he's been on those tyres for 13 laps at the moment. It looks like Michalizzi in P9, 8-lap-old medium. So those should do him fairly well to try and pull away from Simba, who's been on his tyres for 11 laps. The gaps out in front. Santeri just about for a second getting Yogurt out of his DRS, but the gap now down to 8 tenths. But a very crucial chicane coming up. We'll see whether or not he nails it. The gap just about under a second. So Yogurt managing to stay within that crucial DRS zone for another lap. And every lap that he does stay in that DRS, he will be able to save a little bit. Well, actually, he's not saving any DRS. Neither of them are saving DRS. Actually, they are completely at the bottom of their battery, as it seems like basically all of them are, which is a little bit surprising. but everybody manages their ERS in their own ways. So nothing really to say more on that. But it will most definitely play a part in the result of this race. Anybody that can save an extra 10 or 15% and use and deploy it in that DRS zone, it will most definitely pay off in this race. But you can see that Sem and Jerome are actually two drivers in the top 6 without penalties. Obviously with that, obviously not mentioning the leader. Sorry, massive battle going on here for P9. I think really we should keep our eyes on this because these guys are squabbling the most over position. Is Michelinie going to send it up the inside? Oh, he had a little look, but he most definitely thought better of that because that would have not ended well at all. But the leader of this pack will be coming under pressure because if you don't have the DRS, you are sitting duck. So we'll see how this plays out. Currently, Yoga only 6 tenths behind Santeri, so he's managing to actually close the gap. With a few laps to go, Michelinie spun is on the curb. So those newer medium tires for Michelinie have not paid off, and now they're going to be beaming hot. He spins out, and unless something happens, that will be no points for the Red Bulls again this season. Obviously, they've scored 2 points up until now, but no major haul of points for them. Ginger currently only 2 tenths behind Jerome at the moment. You can see up in P6. We'll keep an eye on those gaps as Yoga is very close also behind Santeri. Is he actually going to look to make a move here, getting a little bit of oversteer on the exit, but he's a lot closer than we've seen him in the past few laps. So this is the battle for P2 at the moment. Santeri is going to go defensive. Yes, he does. And they're going to go wheel to wheel into the chicane. And they really, is he going to spin out? No, he doesn't. So they made contact there, but somehow Santeri's managed to keep it together. This is going to bring everybody else into play. Ginger's really sitting on the rear of Jerome, and you can see Keane looking for a move up the inside, and somehow these guys are not spinning out with all of the contact they're making going into that chicane. I'm not sure what turn it is now, so in real life I think that's turn 11 now, so I'd probably say about turn 13. But all the logistics are interesting as Keane he tries to go for the move and it doesn't work out. So he's down into P12. He went for the aggressive move up the inside, and you saw Zach there almost spinning out. I think he actually paused it to save his car, which I'm not sure if you can do that, but I'm not the steward, so I don't really care. We'll follow Ginger now as that battle from P9 to P12 is now diluted a little bit with a few mistakes from Michelinie and Keane. There's yellow flags in the final sector. I believe that will be Keane in the pits. Is he? No. I think he may have got a little bit out of shape on the final corner. Of course, when you do spin out your tires, just overheat massively, and that basically leaves you in a bit of a precarious position for the next few corners. You can see Sem is looking to make the move around the outside. We'll watch this on board with Jerome. Is he going to make it stick? He's going to have the inside for the next corner. He really sends it there, and they bang wheels. But Santeri's got a penalty. He's had to go off the track to maintain this. Oh, surely this isn't going to end too nicely for any of these drivers. Sem will watch this on board from Ginger. Sem trying to maintain it around the outside, which will be turned to the inside, and he gets out of shape. He's going to lose 2 positions, and unfortunately for the Aston Martin driver, he's lost 2 places there. He couldn't get that nose in. Really, if you want to make that move right outside, you really have to get the nose in front of the other car. Otherwise, you basically won't make the move. You'll just end up being pushed off the track. But this is a massive battle for the final podium position. Yoga has managed to get past Santeri and is showing a little bit of pace to get away. Currently the gap 7 tenths between P2 and P3. Sahilu getting a penalty. So currently the only man in the top 5 without a penalty is actually Jerome. Sem is still in a very good position. He just needs to keep it on the track, and he could well be in for a podium. Santeri with another time penalty. So he's got 2 penalties in the space of 1 lap. So he must be struggling to keep those medium tyres in check. Obviously, Ginger has got the freshest tyres out of all of these guys. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get on the podium on track. At the moment, if Jerome and Sem can keep it clean, they'll be very happy come the end of lap 28. As there's yellow flags in the first sector, and Maras has spun. So it's not been a very good race for Maras, but you've got Santeri going past Yoga, and it looks like Ginger's just having a little look on the back of Jerome, but Yoga will now get the DRS down the second straight into probably the biggest overtaking spot on this track. And we're going to watch it. Oh, wow. He's actually moving twice there. So Santeri defending very, very aggressively. He's going to try and dive up the inside and they make a little bit of contact. Is the Ferrari going to keep it on? They're pushing each other off the track. And Jerome is watching this very, very invitingly. I know he's going to think that there's going to be an opportunity for him very, very shortly. As Santeri manages to maintain the position, how, I don't know. He's going to go a little bit defensive, but this is going to go down to lap 28 here in this race. And I couldn't really tell you what's going to happen. Personally, I think somebody's going to crash. But very, very aggressive defending there from the Haas driver. Whether or not it will pay off, we'll have to wait and see. Entering the final lap here, the race leader we have not seen for the entire race because he's been in a league of his own on this track. 6.2 second gap out in front. Has anybody managed to save up some ERS? Because it will most definitely come into play here. You've got a 5-car convoy all battling for the final spots on the podium. As they come across the first detection point, and the Alpine of Ginger bouncing over the inside curb, you can really see when the car takes that curb. And wow, Yogurt must have made a mistake there because Santeri has got a 9/10 gap, and Jerome is all over the back. Oh, he's very, very close to the Ferrari driver. So it looks like that could be the position for Santeri, barring he doesn't make any errors going through this chicane in the middle sector, and he does look fairly clean, so that should be all she wrote for the second spot. Or is Yogurt going to come back at him? Is he going to try and go for a very, very late move? The Ferrari driver is going to be late on the brakes. No, he thinks better of it as there's no position changes on that final lap. Interestingly enough, it was all done on lap 27. This sector you can't really overtake, but is anybody going to be brave enough to try and send it up the inside? Surely not, unless you want to leave with no front wing or absolutely no points. And it looks like that is what we have got. So they will come across the line, surely single file, unless anybody has anything to say about that on the power coming through the final 2 corners. That should be all sure as Lars comes across the line and wins an absolutely dominant Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But we'll see who's on the podium. And it is Jerome and Sem, those that managed to not get any penalties. They round out the top 3. Yogurt finishing P4. Unfortunately for him, the penalties took him out and off the podium. Santeri goes all the way down to P7. We'll probably have a lot of talk in the Discord chat on some of those 3-second time penalties, as really a lot of them were from cars pushing each other off the track. And it looks like we've got a few cars here going for fastest lap. We've actually got Michelizzi and Keen battling here on the final lap. So we'll watch this through the final sector. Can Miku try and make the move around the outside? He's going to look for the switchback. He's going to get a better traction, and they're going to come towards the penultimate corner. He's going to try and hang it around the outside. Oh, he does manage to hang it around the outside. Maybe he can get a little switchback, but it looks like Keen has got the position. Yes, he does. So that's P11 there, or P11 for Miku, and P12 for Keen, and only Konzo to come across the line in the Red Bull. Driver of the day going to Keen. Obviously, he started P19, I believe, making his way up into P11. But yeah, an absolutely dominant victory there for. Oh goodness me, how can I forget his name? Exactly. Well, Lars. Well, I didn't see it in the whole race. So yeah, and he even managed to do a 36.5 with the fastest lap being a 36.3 on soft tires. So that just really showing you the advantage that he had just on pure pace in that Alfa Romeo. Jerome and Yogurt having a good race. Jerome starting P9 and finishing on the podium. Ginger also with a good recovery from P11, finishing in P4. Sahilu maintaining his P5, and Santeri, although he had a good race, although he had a disappointing end to his race, he still managed to gain a position from his starting place. Zach, after starting P12, finishing P7. Jerome losing a few places, obviously with 3 stops in his race, probably a few under the safety car. Simbao and Sem with quite a few penalties, actually taking him all the way down to P10. He had 20 seconds worth of penalties. How did that happen? Wait. I'm not sure how that happened. I thought Sen had no penalties coming to the end. Did he get a few penalties on the last lap? Ignoring yellow flags. Wow, 20 seconds for ignoring yellow flags. I've never got that penalty personally. That is quite unfortunate. I wonder if that will get removed. But yeah, quite a hectic race that we had here in FRO today. But thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week. The track, let me let you know, because Bahrain. So Bahrain always producing good races, and I will also be back next week to bring you guys that race. So until then, I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you guys enjoy the Formula One and your favorite driver wins. Yeah, see you next week.